Okay, today I'm going to expand upon the topic of emotionally healing your inner child, and specifically in the realm of parenting, as far as not having the parent that you needed and deserved. So, I'm going to tell a little story. I was actually going to get married years ago, and what happened was my narcissistic mother told me that she wasn't going to come to the wedding because, it was in Colorado and, she doesn't do well in the altitude. And at that point, I had pretty much decided I had enough, especially since she had taken many trips to Colorado. She had even come to my stepsister's wedding. She had even traveled to Costa Rica for my brother's wedding. And so this was kind of a final straw for me. And I remember at the time saying, you know what, I'm done. I'm just gonna cut her out of my life because I can't deal with this shit anymore. And instead I said, you know what? I'm gonna do one last Hail Mary and I am gonna go see a therapist. Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm the problem. So I started seeing a therapist around this. And one of the things that I learned, which I didn't know at the time that my mom was a narcissist, but I learned that she was a narcissist. And at that point, I also had to dig into what does that really mean? Most of us, when we hear the term narcissist, we think of, the old tale of, the myth of, narcissists and he's in love with himself, right? And that's not really what a narcissist is. And so when I dug into the actual definition of what a narcissist is, how they operate, how they act, and then my therapist actually telling me that I was raised by two narcissists, and that was a bit of a mind blow, especially because I started reading a book about, children of narcissistic parents. And one of the things that I found was that two narcissists will almost never be able to cohabitate. And the reason for that is because they are constantly in competition with each other. Now, in my scenario, the reason why there were two narcissists that were cohabitating were because of religion. And my mother decided that she was, much more willing to sit here in hell on earth than, for her to die and possibly be in hell because she divorced the husband she should have divorced. So I ended up having two narcissistic parents that I was being raised by. That was pretty difficult. And it wasn't until I was adult that I started understanding these things, understanding more about myself. And the one thing that the therapist told me that was kind of the breakthrough moment with my mother was I needed to grieve for my mother because I was not ever going to have the mother I deserved, the mother I needed, nor the mother I wanted. That my mother was incapable of being that person. And that I basically had to grieve her as if she died. And that if I wanted to have any relationship with her, that I needed to identify what did that look like and what purpose was it serving me internally. And that was a pretty hard moment, but it was that moment that I started to come to terms with just being acceptance of the situation instead of just constantly fighting the situation and saying, why aren't you like this? Why can't you be what I need you to be? What's wrong with you? You always say something's wrong with me, but why can't you be the mother I need, when I need you to be? I try to tell you something, that's, I'm being emotionally vulnerable and I want my mother to support me, and you're just like, argh. So, when you're looking at healing your inner child, it's because you're having pain, usually from a parent, not always from a parent, but oftentimes you do have something from a parent. And one of the places that you have to get to is acceptance. And acceptance is not a place of forgiveness. I want to be very clear about that. I'm not somebody that really believes that you have to sit in a space of forgiveness of people all the time. I think some people sure, but I don't think everybody you need to extend forgiveness to. I think that you need to come to a place of acceptance in all your situations, and that place of acceptance with a parent that has not given you the needs that you needed. You have to simply accept that, you know, they're not capable of being the person that you want them to be. They're not capable of being the person that you hope that they will be. And you literally have to go through a grieving process as if they've died. And then from there, you have to kind of craft, okay, well, what does this person mean to me, right? And how am I going to move forward in this place with them? And what are the boundaries that I'm going to establish, regardless of whether you tell them or don't tell them? I established boundaries with my mother, but I never told her I established these new boundaries. And as a result, the relationship improved. Was it a little bit more of a facade? Yeah. A little superficial, definitely. But it allowed me to at least let go of my frustration, let go of my anger, and it allowed me to at least have a relationship with her. In the end, she did show up to the wedding. For any of you that were curious as to how that ended, one of the things I did was provide a quick access to where an oxygen bar would be in case that she was having problems breathing. So. I hope that helps you as far as, you know, healing your inner child. Just a couple things to get to, but that's definitely the topic on acceptance. So have a good day. If you like this video, like it. Otherwise, subscribe to my channel. And if you want life coaching advice, reach out to me on my website at talktopals.com, or you can follow me for some Zen life advice on Instagram and Facebook at Talk to Pals.